More battling with the monster and super creeps. I haven't completely given up on these handlebar grips actually, because I really like them, and I've explored dishing the inside of that metal fitting, so it'll, you can see it's starting to sneak up on that plastic. I might even chip away at some of that plastic to bring that down so it goes even tighter. At the same time, obviously I'll use the other one that I haven't completely mullered. Same problem this end. So I've got, this is now fairly snug to the end of the handlebar, but this boy is supposed to go round there, and of course that's not going to, because of that other plastic lip. So it would be a question of getting rid of that other plastic lip, but I don't think that's a problem, honestly. I think I might do that. Well, that worked on that end, so that's now neatly right up against the butt. And actually, because the guy mounted those mirrors on the end of the handlebars, there is a screw thread in there that I can screw the end piece, this boy, into that. So it'll hold it all neatly in place. So that just leaves that end of things, which I might just paint black. I need to do something about these switches. I keep looking at switches on eBay, these kind of things, and I'm just not sure whether they're going to do the job or not. And then over here we got a choke involved as well, so that's going to be complicated unless I just do away with the choke altogether. Don't really need one. If there's even any young people watching this, they won't even know what a choke is. Actually had this kicking around, a slightly metallic gunmetal-y kind of colour, not quite that colour, but yeah, loop, job done. The more I look into the new switchgear aspect, the easier I think it might be, hopefully. I'm certainly going to try it out over here, and my concerns about the choke, and I use the words in inverted commas because I think, having followed the cable, anyway, it goes down here, it basically ends up here, and it really isn't a choke, I don't think, in the true sense of the word. Where is it? There we go. All I think it does is just jam the throttle open a little bit. See what that's doing to that other cable above it? So all I think that's doing is actually idling at 1500 instead of 600, 700, whatever it normally does. So it's not really a choke in the true sense of the word. And if it is, I'm wrong, and so be it. But I think we can get rid of that. Come on, all you old school boys, let me know I'm right? There's no choke on an injection system, it's only on a carburetor. Where it's doing exactly that, i.e. it's choking off air, so you're getting a richer fuel mix. That's the way I understand a choke to be anyway. Meantime, found myself a nice little oil catch tank. Very cute little thing. So when that arrives, that'll fit perfectly on the coil mount, like I suggested I might do. Well, I say perfectly, I mean there's always going to be some arsing around, right? I was looking for something totally different, but meantime I found this that I also bought for that silly little Honda that I had, my Trump bike, and that looks cool, and it has a filter that goes on the top, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I was looking for some indicators that I had bought for the Triumph actually yonks ago. I can't find them. Don't know what I've done with them. And there's a back light somewhere that I bought recently for the Augusta and didn't use, and that's disappeared too. Exactly who's in charge of the inventory around here? Found it, still don't like it. Don't know why I ever bought it. Didn't find the back light though. Yeah, naff. Remember all this damage from this little device? This latch thing? Yeah, look. Just a little it's very sticky pad with softy, strokey. Yeah, so that should stop that scuffing. That latches on to that piece there at the bottom of the key. Still haven't worked out what that is. Does anyone know what this ring here? Is it something to do with the immobilizer? Come on, one of you must know. Looking at this mechanism for the choke, is it just me or should that nut be over here? Fuel hose arrived today, so I shall be installing that. Not down there though. Cool. And my high temp paint. So we'll be painting the exhaust pipe. Some of these fancy clips, unfortunately, it's that size and I haven't got that many of those. Just enough though, I think, and just enough hose because that fits nicely there. That'll go to there. And then we got that loopy bit, which used to include the T-junction for the emissions, which it now won't. Oh, look at that. What a nice finish. All snugged in there, ready to clamp up. And plenty left over at the back to fit the fuel tank fittings to and reach the bottom of the tank, which is about here. And obviously they've got to go down and up, so there's no major kink in it. I think we've got plenty. And a couple of those fancy clips left over for the new hose quick release for the fuel tank. I'm not going to put those on until I'm 100% happy with my new routing, but it looks good to me. And yeah, and then that'll be final. Well, I can always take the battery tray out if I needed to. Remove the rear foot pegs. I'll do the other ones when the new ones arrive. Just one of these little guys and then push the pin through. So if anyone needs a set of rear pegs for a Ducati Monster, you're welcome to them. Just let me know. Somewhat ironically, the back coil, which is now in a drawer, will reach my new little tray. No problem. This one, there's no two ways around it. I'm going to have to chop the wires, extend them, and give it a little bit extra wireage. Shame. Don't like chopping wires unnecessarily, but yeah, well, so be it. So strip that wire back a little so I can see what I'm doing. Give me a little bit of extra room to do the joins and stuff. Looks like a red and white and a green and white. Difficult to tell, really. Can you? I haven't got either of those, so I'll just come up with something of my own invention. Using these again, obviously my favourite melty things and trusty Zippo. So they're in place on there, ready to meld into the new wires. There we go, plenty of scope for wherever we want to position it. Obviously I gave myself plenty of scope. And I'm going to wrap those up now with some conventional, am I going to wait for my friction tape? I might just use some conventional stuff. Yeah, plenty of room to play with there, actually more than I needed, honestly, but better that than less. Now I think it's just a question of lining stuff up in the tray how I want it, and these holes match up with these holes quite nicely, so I think that'll do for that piece. So just drop that down there and see how the coils are going to fit, but they're going to fit there fine. Yeah. I'm thinking something like that, where the HT lead goes over the side and over the side here. Or we could do that. Ooh, that's nice. That's sexy. Maybe something like that. That's nice. That'll work the other side. Yeah. I'm beginning to like that, but that will screw hole in there. job done. And here I'm allowing to cut out some of the tray to feed the cables underneath the battery tray, like I have done the fuel lines. I could actually take them around the side there. There's a gap, and there's a gap here, but you can't see it. But I could take them around the side and just kind of cable tie them up underneath the battery tray. I might do that. I know it looks like something out of Alien, but bear with me. Meantime, this has come out better than I ever hoped. So yeah, fuck cleaning exhaust pipes, just paint them. You know me, impatient as ever. I just had to balance it in there to see what it's going to look like. I can see it's going to be a right fiddle to get this to marry up, and then that to marry up at the back, that back cylinder. But yeah, I like that. That's nice. I'm glad I went for gold, actually. I did buy some black, if you noticed, just in case the gold didn't work out, but I like the gold. So yeah, it's always easy to take this stuff off, and then it's working out what's best to line up first when you're putting it back in. And actually I think it's going to be that. Get that sleeve over, and then pop this on the front. We shall see when it comes to it. And then there's these mounts. I don't know where they went. Where did they go? Does anyone else remember? Jeez, am I going to have to watch my own videos? Oh, I guess so. Obviously my buddy Chuck would have powder coated it because he's that kind of guy. You know me, I can't hang around. So I just wanted to see. But yeah, that seems to be the way. I've just barely got that on there. And then that's kind of lining up over here. So that's the way to do it. Get this boy on first. And then you've got a little bit of flexibility, bending that around while you marry that up over there. And this boy slips up. Yeah. Had to take the battery tray out to get these connectors through the gap, which is fine. It's these 4 things, 4 Allen bolts, no problem. And yeah, I think we've got enough scope to get this up where we needed it, where it lined up with the holes. Still plenty of room for the coils. All good. Foot pegs turned up today. And yes, you guessed it. I got 2 pairs because my wife ordered them again, which is just as well because they're going to need some modification. Yes, they're a little droopy. What would you expect from a Harley product? Issue number 1 is the pin that goes through the Ducati mount is obviously way too small for that fitting. Got over that to some degree with these washers, but that's not the half of it. Completely different ball game with these springs that go in the gap and then hook to the mount to hold them level and ping them back down again should they flick up. So much for universal fittings. Got a bunch of spacers and things like that, of course none of which work. I've got one that kind of does the job almost perfectly, but I need 4. Gonna make these work somehow because I really like them actually. All kinds of crazy ideas going on here. Nothing that's gonna work yet though. Meantime, while I had the gold paint out, I painted the chain guard. I didn't drill it. And the timing belt covers, which are looking very regal on their red tea towel. So yeah, they look better. That grotty, matte, oily grey. I think so. That's all that matters. More crazy ideas, debating rubber grommets, but they're going to just dry out and screw up in the heat. What I'm resisting doing is getting a 10mm bolt, throwing it through the fitting, and drilling these out to accept it. Kind of inevitable though, I feel. Just so happens I have the bolts and I have the drill bit, so... Well, I lied, I haven't got the bolts because they're not long enough. But anyway, you get the idea. So, yeah, that's properly droopy now. So the other thing I'm going to have to do is we need the round edge up the top so it can flick up, but we need something to stop it doing that, drooping. Yeah, so we need something in there to make it rest at an appropriately level point. Not that I'll be scraping any foot pegs around corners in this day and age. I'm a little old for that nowadays. Unless it's one of the very rare occasions when I'm riding a Harley Davidson, twice in my life, and probably never again. Yeah, scrape the foot peg coming out of the parking lot because there's no clearance. Yes, I know, more tray. What the hell? Yeah, so just exploring things again, cutting out the cable routing and realizing that these may be better mounted like this. So there's the bolt, goes through that side panel. This sits upright, logo uppermost, electrics go in there, HT goes in there. I think that might be the route I go. Need to tidy this up. Difficult really without the right tools, honestly. So that's slightly wonky, and here's why, because that is off center. So I need to take out that corner there. I started thinking about possibility of just putting a flathead screw in there or something in the actual foot peg itself, but that would mean drilling a hole, tapping it, etc. And then it occurred to me there's these super sticky things that tyre people use that are about the right. Yeah, I think I might try and go and get a couple of them, balance them foot pegs out. Right, beautiful little niche in there, and cut that out so the wires can go there. Nice. Time for some paint, I think. I'm thinking Rhino flatbed, matte black truck bed stuff. Interesting mix of paint in the end, because the truck bed stuff kind of came out weird. So I used some of that same metallic paint that I had over here on top. So it's a bit of a mixture. Hard wearing metallic. Much better, in my humble opinion. Just slotted those back in place. Not going to tighten them up yet because I may well be replacing the timing belts. Found the perfect solution for the rear mount on the tray, which goes to the battery tray. And actually, it was one of these horrible things. It was a bracket that came, I think it must have been off the Triumph, for these horrible reflectors that you're supposed to have on the back. Obviously, I haven't got them on the back. There's that regulator, as I suggested, underneath the tray, better airflow. Loads of cooling, see? So that's fitted there. Here's the cables for the coils. All nicely routed back under the tray. Lovely. And I think I'm settling on the coils doing that. Although what that looked like the other side, I guess it would go the other way. Yeah. So that's roughly how that's going to look. Just hope that left-hand one isn't going to poke out too much and foul on the fuel tank. We'll see. That about does it for this episode. I'll be looking at options for the seat next time around, so do tune in again. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and encourage others to watch my lunacy.